what I was doing all my life.
Brilliant. And how is it working in cybersecurity? Because like what we always hear is, it's such a fast-paced environment. You always kind of have to be one step ahead. Is that like an environment that you're comfortable working in? Is that something that you get excited about?
So one of the challenges, yeah, is to stay in the loop, to just run ahead of the train, because the problem is all the technology evolves every day. Like every week I open the news and some new AI model is released and like new this, new that. And it's like, if you are not catching up with that, you
Yeah.
are beaten by the bad actors who do. They do like, they catch up with everything. They like, you mitigate one problem and then like in the fairy tale, you cut the dragon's head, two heads pop up in the instead of that. So you mitigate one problem, they come up with five different problems. And if you don't stay in the loop of what's going on the market right now and tomorrow, then you'll not be able to build resilient systems and secure systems.
I really like that analogy, the dragon's head and two pop up, because that is indeed how it is. And how do you keep up to date with everything? Is it just Reddit?
The community, just
Yeah.
the community, because it's Reddit, it's YouTube. They're just like watching YouTube videos of different kinds, different from the people's of different walks, lives from different sites. Even if I don't understand anything, because for example, like some C++ engineer, and I have no idea what those guys are talking about, but it's still, I'm still interested because it gives you food for thought. So it's mostly consuming all the data that is available, including Reddit, YouTube, Medium, like RSS subscriptions. We have our engineer channel in Slack. So
Yeah.
just if you want to find information, you'll be able to. Doesn't like it's not an excuse like it's 2025. It's not an excuse like I can find information. You can. It's like there is an excessive amount of information. You want sometimes you want even consume less than you do.
And I like that whole sense of community, because that's kind of what Malwarebytes was built on, right? We always talk about like the origin story of Malwarebytes and Marcin Klasinski, and how when he encountered an issue with his computer, he went, and this is like what 2000? Oh, what are we now? 2005.
Yeah, yeah, 2008 or 2005. But those communities, they do not exist anymore because it was on forum. No forums nowadays. Any
Yeah.
social, like anything social, it's just a big, big junkyard. You don't even want to go there. So, like any Facebooks, any like I don't know, Instagrams and Twitters, you just open it and you are filled with so much junk that you just want to delete those apps forever. It's more like some like mediums, some Reddit. Reddit is still holding. I don't know how they
Yeah.
managed to do that, but Reddit's still holding. It's still valuable. Everything else, it's just like wow, no, not for me. So yeah, those days, those communities, like unfortunately, they are not alive anymore. But it's just the entire concept changed.
And so you were an engineer. You're saying like you're basically walking around, walking, working around the whole kind of real cybersecurity stuff. What does a day in the life of Anton look like? You wake up and then you consume some news. What's your day like?
So I'm a morning person. The earlier the better. Like, of course, in the winter when it doesn't get light, it's more challenging. But right now it's almost summer. I still feel summer outside, despite that it's autumn. I try to wake up at least at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Piece of cake right now. And then I'm not unique here because all my colleagues from the US, that's the regular day. They even wake up at 5 because they want to communicate with us who are ending their day. So it's like some people like, how are you crazy? How can you wake up at 6? It's like too early. Every single engineer in Santa Clara does exactly that
Yeah.
24, like every day, every working day. So it's just a matter of who you are and where you're located. But anyways, wake up if I'm lucky at 6, if I'm not lucky at 7, but anyway, like early. Sometimes then, of course, I start everything with coffee. Before coffee, I'm kind of function. It's just my brain that doesn't work. It's just like it can be switched on. It's just something inside my brain, and so I go to like a zombie, brew some coffee. Then it depends. Sometimes I go to the gym to work out because you do your workout early in the morning and then you're free with from that for the rest of the day. Sometimes I feel not up to and I'm reading a book or reading some articles,
Mhm.
check what's going on in I think the only social network that I'm using is Instagram because I connect with my friend there. Everything else was pushed a long time ago. Check that, and then finally I start my working day. And the beauty about me located in Tallinn that every person who can bother me in Slack, like in Zoom, they're asleep because they're in US. So all mornings for me are just focused on work,
Yeah.
no disruptions at all. People start to wake up like maybe around after lunch, around 3 p.m. So from 9 until 3, I have this leeway of just doing stuff, and that's so amazing. So one of the challenges that some of my colleagues report is that sometimes it's not so easy to work with the time zones. Like the team is very distributed, and like to be able to communicate with someone in the US, it's just this 2 hour window during the evening. Not for me, because this privilege of having 6 hours uninterrupted without any calls or messages, because after three Slack explodes, just it just
Mhm.
explodes. It's like the counter goes like from 0 to 1,000 like in a minute. But this privilege of just doing be able to work in the morning when I'm the most productive, uninterrupted, that's like a real privilege because people in the US they work in the morning with meetings. And
Yeah.
then if they want to do something aside that, it's after lunch where your brain always already starts to kind of be asleep. So yeah, I usually work from home because our team is very distributed. It's all scattered all over Europe, in US, and I think and in Israel. So it's very scattered. So when I when something happens in the office, I always it's like it's 15 minutes by bike. So I just hop on my bike. I get there. I meet with some people, do some meetings. If I need some teams, some other adjacent teams, get back, do some work. So then in the evening, if I worked out in the morning and I read some books, and vice versa. If I read books in the morning, I work out, and I think that's my day. It's just a boring routine of an engineer.
The boring routine of an engineer. I think is a great routine. And I think what you're saying is, I think that's the kind of the beauty. Working in Europe comes with its ups and its downs. It's not really a downside because, I don't mind working in the evening every now and again. But indeed, what you're saying, the first few hours of your workday is just no distractions. You can really focus on what you need to do. So sometimes I feel like we're very lucky to work in this company on this side of the world. You're based in Tallinn.
Yeah,
One knows I've been mentioning this like probably 1,000 times in these. Tallinn is my favorite office. The Tallinn office is
yeah. Two floors of pure delight.
to your lots of pure delight. That should be the tagline for the
Yeah,
Estonian
I
office.
should have the t-shirt
We're
with
gonna
that slogan.
Do you like, because you said you mainly work from home because you're so distributed. When you do go to the office, do you look forward to it? Is it great to meet other people?
Course, it's because this is so rare occasions. I'm always excited because if I'm going to the office, something cool is happening there, like some people visit, or I'm meeting with some local teams who I didn't meet in like weeks or months. So the fact that I'm mostly remote makes each trip to the office unique, and I always look forward to that. Even like I literally live in 15 minutes by bike. It's like it's just like it's just here. I can like I maybe can see my office just if I go across the
Good
street.
day.
It's very close, and I still neglect it just because nothing. just nobody from my team is there. If I go
Yeah.
to the office, I do the same thing as I'm doing at home. I open my laptop, connect to Zoom, and just communicate with everybody via Zoom.
Yeah. No, that's a
And
good.
then all people aside, they complain because I usually talk very loud. It's just, I can't do anything. I can just help it. I just talk very loud, and then they complain like, just go and find a room. And then I try to find a room, and of course, all rooms are booked. All rooms are booked. It's just too many people who want to do exactly the same, just to communicate with someone overseas. So
I feel
uh,
you.
yeah.
I have the same problem. When I was in the office, I have a very loud voice. And yes, I have been told off several times. But it's okay. It's okay. It's good for these
Yeah.
things. And we were talking, we're going to go a little bit back to cybersecurity. And what I always ask people, because, what we were saying, cybersecurity moves so fast. What was the story of the year, the cybersecurity story of the year 2025? We're already September, so I think we can ask that question.
So I will tell you my personal story. So it's 2025, and for me, it's still scam calls. Like, because back, I can't even trace exact moment. I think like 4 or 5 years ago, where I linked my phone together with my name. So they know that this phone belongs to Anton, and that's a golden mine for those scammers because they can just personally address me. Hello, Anton. Like, do you want like this is police department. You have this letter that we want you to collect, so you need to provide me with your social security number. So it's not called social security number, but it's the same. It serves the same purpose. And then, like, they're calling me every week, or
Mm-hmm.
like, and I've tried to use different tools by Malwarebytes, by our competitors that claim that they can block only the scam calls. They can target specifically scam calls and leave all other unknown numbers be failed because they either block everything or they block maybe 75% of legitimate calls or they just block nothing. So I had to unsubscribe from everything and then just live the thought that yeah, indeed, sometimes scammers call me and they just okay, hello, Anton. I know, like I know, I recognize the manner of speech, so I just hang up immediately. I used to just make it to be making fun of them, but I'm not doing that anymore because it's not worth my time. So.
Well, that's a,
So the problem is, it's 2025. All this AI stuff, all those cool technologies. Nobody could still address that, and it's like my personal pain because I could change the number, but the thing is, me and my wife, we have consecutive numbers. Her number my number ends with 2. Her number is the same, ends with 5. I don't want to lose that privilege, so I have to keep this number forever. But those scammers, they just make my life a little bit more miserable. But I hope that finally someone, I hope it will be Malwarebytes who will be able to address this issue and not ban all unknown numbers that are still like some people some friends of mine, they just don't care, they don't pick up unknown numbers, but I do because sometimes some delivery guy is calling, or
yeah.
just someone legitimate who I want to talk to, and I have to pick up unknown numbers. But yeah, for me, it's my personal pain of especially 2025 because lots of cool tools that claim to address that were released, nothing works.
And it is a pain. And what you're saying is, you're just talking about AI. The problem is as well because they're using AI now as well. The AI robocalls, and like for us, we're very skeptical. We're real skeptics because we're working in Malwarebytes. But for like certain generations, it can look very real, and that is the problem. Is that and that's why we always say, if you're not sure, don't give anyone your personal information on the phone. Call the bank or the police by their number, by the number that is known, and make sure that you're calling the right number. Because yeah, I would say like I'm in Germany. I don't really get them that much. I think it also differs per location, but
Yeah, I think it's maybe you are just lucky to not get your number leaked aside it. Lucky, quote unquote. Because if you want, I can. I know the place. I can link your number with the name, and you'll be in my company. But then you'll come with her person and kill me. So I don't know what to do that.
I am one of those people that if there's a number that I don't recognize, I will Google it first before. I am.
Yeah, and then you Google it, and some scam reporting sites pops up, and yeah, this is indeed scam. But those, like, if it was that easy, those hackers, they rotate the numbers like from like a machine gun. They just like, have maybe thousands of numbers, and I had like the screenshot where I received maybe 15 calls within a minute from different numbers. Obviously, I didn't pick up any of those, but that's obviously a scam. But yeah, that shows the scale of this thing.
Yeah, and that's indeed it's insane. Um, we were talking as well about like these scam calls, what to do about this. You are probably also the IT help desk of your group of friends,
Family.
family, or
Yeah, indeed, indeed. So I try to abstain from that because, for example, like I work as an engineer for decades, not years, decades. I still have trouble setting up something on my computer because that's not what I do.
mm,
So, like, some like, especially when it's Windows, because I was with Mac for all my life. So, when, for example, some mate of mine asked me, like, how do you set up this in Windows? And I check his computer and all those buttons that I've never seen in my life. What do you like? What should I even go to open the browser? I don't know. But obviously, I stay vigilant and I can
mm,
advise what you should or should not do in the internet,
yeah.
especially to all the generations like my mom, my mother-in-law, all those people. Of course, I try to keep them updated. My mom, she recognized scammers like that. If
Mm,
someone calls her, she can tell that's not legitimate because she's vigilant herself, and I tell her that all the time, like what schemes they use, like what's the most recent schemes, how they improved like old schemes, how they try to like hypnotize you, maybe, I don't know. But this, yeah, if you have older relatives and you know how this thing works, you better just hit them up and get them in the loop.
yeah, I think, and this is what I really like to hear, that your mom is so vigilant, because like, is she just really skeptic, and does she mess around with them when she has them on the phone? Does she?
No, no, she prefers to deal like myself. I used
Yeah.
to mess around with them, but what's the point?
Mm,
I'll waste my time and then to waste a little bit of their time, which doesn't really make any sense because they will make up for that wasted time ten times. So she also like the least amount of time dedicated to them possible. Like you pick up the phone, hello Anton, the scammer, just hang up, block the number, that's it, done.
yeah, yeah. No, that's a good. That's actually good advice. Just hang up, block the number. Might call back, but make sure that you. This is a great chat. I really enjoy this. We are getting at the end of the chat though. But one of the things I always ask people as well, because we're working for Malwarebytes, and like, in what I really love, you've been here 6 years, I've been here 8 years. 8 years next month.
Oh,
Um, we've gone through like the evolution of Malwarebytes being mainly an antivirus program to what we are right now, which is more like a holistic version of security and privacy. So there's been so many features and so many kind of programs added to our portfolio, I think is the word
yeah,
people.
yeah, you can tell it. You can name it like that.
Thank you. What is your favorite feature or program or anything that you're like, yes, when we release that, this is brilliant?
I think it's identity protection, because we as Europeans, we have this privilege, one other privilege of our governments kind of doing some pieces of identity protection for you. Like, for example, if you pay for something online, you will, it's not providing your credit card details are not enough. It's not enough. It's way like far from enough. You need to provide some 2FA, like your bank application or your SMS confirmation, whatever. You cannot just like, regardless of what you try to purchase, hotels or I don't know, food, books, when you pay, you need to provide this extra factor. People in US, they don't have this privilege. If your credit card gets leaked, then people can charge, like bad actors can charge you again and again and again until you block your card. But if you don't know that they charge you, and sometimes those guys are quite smart, and they know that maybe I will charge a little bit each month, so that it's get blended in your bank statement, and you notice it maybe in half a year.
Mhm.
Not just like they're not buying the Porsche right away when you still enjoy
No.
it. So identity protection, I know how things works in different countries, and that's the thing that people really need, because back in Marcin Kleczynski days, it was really up to antivirus, because there was a handful of things that you could do on the internet. Like back in 2008, I think you couldn't pay for anything in the internet. Just
Yeah.
those credit cards were just a piece of plastic that you used in ATMs, and that's it. You couldn't even pay. Like you could just, if you're lucky, you could pay in some high-end stores, but you were really withdrawing cash. Now I didn't see, and like I didn't use an ATM, I think, in like since COVID.
Yeah.
You just don't the how you use your money is now is completely different, and you need protection for that. You don't need the antivirus that as much as you used to need before, but you need extra layers of protection of yourself, of your data. Like if you get breached, if your passwords get leaked, and maybe they're used on some other sites, and those sites are compromised as well. So the entire, not just the identity protection, but the entire portfolio of identity protection products is what I'm most excited about right now.
That sounds good. And you're not the first person that says that. So I think I agree with you. I think it's so important. We're living
You
in
know why? Because great minds think alike.
yes, thank you. Great minds and loud voices.
Yeah.
And it is true. And I think when we did one of the surveys recently, that is something that especially the younger generation is most worried about if their data is leaked. Like whereas like our generation, like 20 years ago, it was like, oh, what if my computer gets like my
Breached.
career
Yeah.
20 years ago was like, oh, I'm gonna lose all my pictures. Like that was like lose, not leaked, but lose all my pictures. But yeah, there's a whole different type of threat right now, and IDTP, identity theft protection is indeed very important at the moment. I see we're getting to the end of this. Thank you so much for this great conversation. I think we had a lot of
Thanks
fun.
for having me.
And thank you for being such a loud voiced person as well. I don't feel so alone anymore.
Yeah, come to Tallinn. You'll sit right next to my desk, and we'll have a
How
meeting to just we'll talk to each other, and we'll frustrate everybody else on the floor.
the 10th of December I'll be there and let's do this.
Yeah, prepare to enjoy Estonia in the winter.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna pack my really, really, really big coat. Thank you so much, Anton. And as always, Darta, who's in the background. I don't know, she's there somewhere.
Yeah, no.
Thank you everyone for watching or who's watching this later. We'll have another one in a couple of weeks. Thanks everyone, and have an amazing day, evening, morning, wherever you are. And see you next time. Thank you, Anton.
Thank you. See ya.